Good evening and welcome to the Monday, July 22nd meeting of the Lake Forest Zoning Board of Appeals. The board is here tonight to work together with all of you, property owners, neighbors, and architects to continue the tradition that allows community members to work together to preserve the qualities and the unique character that make Lake Forest a special community. We recognize the personal importance of each petitioner's request. Our goal is to respect the requests of the owner while balancing the interests of the community as a whole. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Zoning Board of Appeals, the board hears all requests for variations in zoning and special use permits. City of Lake Forest is committed to conducting open meetings. To achieve that goal, the board has adopted meeting procedures that ensure that all parties have an opportunity to speak. Procedures are detailed on the agendas available in the back of the room. This meeting is also broadcast on cable television. Speaking on behalf of the entire board and city staff, our goal is to move each petition through the review process as quickly as possible, while at the same time balancing the interests of the petitioners, neighboring property owners, and the community at large. So we will start with an introduction of the board, starting from my right.
Lloyd, Culbertson, 4th Ward.
Richard Christoff, 4th Ward.
Stewart, Dixon, 2nd Ward.
Jay Kennedy, 4th Ward.
Bob Frank, go ahead. Sorry. Bob Franksen, 1st Ward. And with us from city staff this evening are Megan Newman, city planner, and special welcome to Ariel Stouter, planning intern from UIC this evening. We'll start with approval of the minutes from the June 24th ZBA meeting. Were there any comments to that?
No comments, no.
I just had a question. Were we all present? I don't think Sam was here either, because you sat next to me. So, Megan,
Sam was absent.
you may want to check that.
We will check the record.
Okay. So with that possible change, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda, or actually the only petition this evening, is consideration of a request for a variance to allow construction of a replacement accessory structure within the side and rear yard setbacks at 10 North Ahwahnee Road. Owners and representatives are Dennis and Mary O'Brien. Do I have, are there any conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts on this petition?
No.
No.
If anybody is intending to, got it here somewhere, I'd swear on the parties anybody that's intending to speak tonight. So if you stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you very much. And we'll proceed to presentation by the petitioner.
My name is Dennis O'Brien. I'm the owner of the property. I want to, good evening, the chairman and board members. Thank you for hearing my petition for the variance on my property. To give you a little background of the property, the home was built in 1927, prior to the current zoning laws. I'm not sure of the date of the garage, but it was built at some point in time after the home was built. The reason why I'm coming forth for the petition to replace the garage is it was struck by a tree. This is working. Sorry about that. Oops. Doesn't seem to be working for me. I apologize. The garage was hit by an oak tree, causing extensive damage that now causes the garage to not be usable. We looked to see what would be the best location for the garage other than its existing location. The one area that was possible for the garage was that had room to be within the setbacks is the east side of the property. If you look at the photo, if you can see, that is populated by quite a few mature trees that would have to come down on the property. And it'd also be non-conforming to the neighboring properties. Our current home, its eastern border is pretty much right in line with the houses to our north. We have a similar front yard setback, so that would keep it in conformity with the streetscape of the existing houses in the neighborhood. The idea, what we had is, because of the variance of the property, because it was built before zoning laws, is we wanted to bring it as much in compliance as we could while still staying within the features of the property. Currently, the garage that's there is 20.5 feet wide by 27 feet deep. Our proposed replacement garage would be 20 feet wide by 24 feet deep. By changing the garage size and reducing it, and also moving the garage to the south, we would correct some of the problem we have on the northern edge. The current garage actually is 6 inches over the property line. By reducing the size of the garage and moving it to the south, we'll end up with a setback of 5 feet, which is right in line with the majority of the northern part of the house. So we'd have a line that follows the northern part of the house and symmetry of that. On the west side of the property line, it currently has a 6-inch setback. We would move it, again with the reduction in size, and moving it to the east, we'd end up with a 3-foot setback. We are somewhat limited on how much we can move it to the east, because with that movement, we would be 10 feet from the existing house. So that would give us a 3-foot setback on the western property line and the 5-foot on the north. I don't have photographs of it, but the western property, it's heavily wooded from our property line to the first structure on the western property, which is a garage that is 60 feet setback from our property line. And the residence is another 25 feet beyond that, or 85 feet from the property line. And with the heavy wooded section, there would be very little visibility or increased visibility from that property owner. In truth, the only people that see this garage are our neighbors to the north and our neighbors that share the driveway that we're on. There are 3 homes on our shared driveway, and they would only see it as they drive by, so the setbacks wouldn't affect them. And because of the high foliage on the western property, the visibility really isn't going to change there. That's basically our position, my position on where the garage would sit and why it's the most appropriate place for it to be. I'm open to questions, and I respectfully request the board to grant the zoning variance. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to staff's report, which will be given this evening by Ms. Stouter.
Okay. As a petitioner described in some of his challenges, in our discussions, that the setback variance from the regulations is supposed to be at 10 feet from the property line, and by moving the structure from where it currently is, it'll become within more compliance than it is now. As stated in discussions, it's a historical home, and we also noticed problems, and there's changing grades throughout the property, and the mature trees is also a major factor in why we can't do this. As we put in the staff report, we have found positive findings that support this recommendation, and as a whole, the staff recommends the place where the new structure should go. And thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to questions from the board to the petitioner or staff, starting with Mr. Plonsker.
I don't know that this really falls under the reviews of the zoning board, but I'm just curious as to what the materials are going to be and how the garage is going to look compared to how it looks now.
Our intention, it is a wood-sided garage, about 8-inch siding. We're going to replicate the garage as best we can. They're going to be cedar siding, roughly the 8-inch, same as the existing garage. The big difference between the existing garage and the new garage right now, the peak and the of the garage is about 21 and a half feet. The proposed new garage would have a 16 and 1/3 foot height, a pitch of 10-12. The slide that's up there right now, the dash line is the existing roof line and the proposed roof line in the garage. But the materials, exterior materials, will be exactly the same as the existing garage. Same color, brown. Wood garage door, same as existing. The only difference with the garage doors, right now there's no windows in the garage door. We would have windows.
Either side. Sure.
I,
Mr. Culbertson.
yes, I have one question. The existing setback right now, did I read this correctly, is 6 feet from the west? Is that?
No, that's 6 inches. I think there's a typing error in the staff report.
Ah, it's 6 inches from the west. And what's proposed is 3 feet.
Correct.
From the west. Okay, so we're not reducing the setback, we're actually increasing the setback.
Correct, sir.
Thank you very much for that clarification.
That was my question, too. I assumed that was a typo, but I wasn't sure. That's clarified now.
I had one question, somewhere in the memo here, I thought it said that just out of curiosity, that the garage is currently over the property line?
That's correct. On the
that
north,
because of
it's
the-
6 inches over the northern property line.
Been that way, or is that because of the tree?
It's been that way.
Wow.
We bought the home 10 years ago, and it was existing that way when we purchased the home. Again, I'm not sure when the garage was built, but it was built over the property line.
Yeah, okay. Any other
My
questions?
neighbor to the north actually had to jog the fence between the two houses.
Sure. Any other questions?
Any drainage issues currently with the structure, and is that being addressed with the new foundation? And
Yes, the new foundation, two things. We're going to be in code that the footings will be 42 inches deep, and there will be roughly a 3-inch slope from the back to the front of the garage. And there is a little pitting of the current driveway that will be corrected with moving the garage to the south and also the concrete foundation for it.
I just have one other question for staff. Have there been any, to date, any letters from any other neighbors about this?
As of now, no.
Thank you.
Were there any?
None.
None. Okay. All right, we'll move on to public testimony. Please limit it to 5 minutes per speaker. Guess that'll be short. There is no cross-examination filed. Any final questions from the board? Being none, no petitioner rebuttal, no staff response, I assume. Final board comment. I mean, if I could sum it up, it's a non-conforming structure. You know, one day we're going to get a tough one, I'd just like to tell the board. But it appears to be a non-conforming structure. The current structure is unusable. The replacement structure is going to be a smaller footprint and also a shorter roof height, so and more aesthetically pleasing, I suppose, with the house. So those are my thoughts, but you all may feel differently.
No, I would agree with that. It'd be a good thing to get it off the neighbors, the neighbors' lot.
That's a bonus.
Yeah,
It's a
big
bonus,
problem.
yeah, for many years.
Yeah.
The garage was, trashed, and we're doing something, put up something new, it's better, and it's off the neighbors. Seems like a good project to me.
It's also very strategic how they left the garage door kind of, cockeyed like that. But,
You like that?
well, good call. Any other comment?
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion on this matter? Stewart?
I'd like to move that we recommend the variance as submitted based on the findings of staff and the report submitted to our committee here in the last 2 weeks, and the findings and materials based on our review on site and discussions here this evening. And I recommend fully that we move forward with the approval of this variance.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Board Member Dixon, seconded by Mr. Culbertson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You bet. Moving on to opportunity for the public to address the Zoning Board of Appeals on matters not on the agenda. Okay. Any additional information from staff and anything come up? Okay. The only thing I'd tell you is that our next meeting on August 26th, I may not be present. I'll let you know as soon as possible, but that's,
And we'll certainly poll the board members for their availability for that meeting as well.
okay, good deal. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting adjourned.